I'm Harold Jordan. I am the Senior Policy Advocate at the ACLU of Pennsylvania. I've been here just a little more than 9 years.
Equity at its best.
This is part 2 of our interview with Harold Jordan of the American Civil Liberties Union of Pennsylvania. And the question was, how do students and parents protect their civil rights in education?
There's work to be done at all levels. Students have the right to speak up, to exercise those rights I mentioned to earlier, rights to expression, rights to complain about things, right to distribute petitions, to put out articles, things of that sort, and a right to request that school districts take action, school administrators take action when they're not being treated fairly. Parents should have some, parents and guardians also have some rights in the process, including the right to be present and be involved when certain kinds of disciplinary action are anticipated or proposed for a student, the right to be notified in advance. And once again, it's important to know these rights aren't automatically granted or respected in practice, but there are things that you have to work to get. You have to remind them that you do have this right. You have to, and if you can't get there on your own, bring an outside advocate. Go to organizations like the ACLU or education rights groups, disability rights groups, civil rights groups. Bring someone from that organization with you when you meet the people. Speak to school boards. Remind them that they have a responsibility to see that kids and parents are treated fairly. Those are some of the kinds of things to do. In addition, especially in the last, say, 6 to 8 years, groups of parents and students have organized all around the country to change school district policies that were discriminatory or unfair or harmful, or that resulted in disproportionately in certain kids being pushed out of school, or state law. There are a variety of state laws around the country that are very broad and vague in the sense that they grant school districts the authority to remove kids from school under very broad sort of discipline categories like disruption, defiant behavior, willful defiance. There are at least 22 states that have laws like that. Some of them actually allow students to be charged with a crime. So let's take a really good example that's now being challenged in the court by the ACLU. I think many people will remember the incident in a South Carolina high school where a young woman had a cell phone, the teacher tried to take it away, called the school police officer, known as a type of school police officer known as school resource officer. The officer, Ben Fields, comes into the class, grabs the phone, tells the girl to give him the phone, tries to grab the girl, and then he flips her over onto the floor and essentially assaults the student there. Now, both that student and a young woman who videotaped it on her cell phone, pulled out her cell phone, were charged with a violation of South Carolina law known as disturbing schools. It's the most vaguely written law in the world that says almost anything that's seen as disruptive of education could become a criminal offense. And so the ACLU is representing the young woman who videotaped the confrontation, or I should say the assault, by the police officer and was subsequently arrested. We are challenging the constitutionality of that statute, the Disturbing Schools Law. But there are 22 states that we know of so far that have equivalent laws under which kids can either be excluded from school or criminally charged under these very vague and subjective laws that a school official or a police officer can see in a certain kind of way. But you're not basically talking about someone assaulting someone else or anything of that sort. It's just that if your behavior is seen as disruptive, you could be either kicked out of school or charged with that. We know that it is exactly those kind of broad and vague rules and laws that disproportionately harm Black and Latino students. And so there's a need to struggle on the legal front and to change laws and to change school policies, as well as to work to ensure fairness in everyday interactions and everyday conflicts that occur in schools.
So I think the Office of Civil Rights is immensely important, and it is. The Office of Civil Rights has done a ton of great work and really led culture change in a lot of key areas over the years, not just in the area of Title IX, but I mean we're talking about disability issues, we're talking about race issues, religion issues. I mean basically the full spectrum of civil rights issues. They've done a really fantastic job over the years of being really proactive and making sure that institutions are putting the kind of protections and policies and procedures in place that are needed to safeguard those civil rights that we've worked so hard to build over the years.